Alright, so Cap got his box of Storm King's Thunder. The other things are still available. Until any of you want to give some minis a good home, why don't we make some characters, huh? We're going to begin this session by making the surgeon. Now, last night we made the cook, who's the true captain of the ship, right? But tonight we're going to be making the surgeon, and after that we'll make the quartermaster. And remember, this is going to be normal character creation as we do so on this channel, though we are going to add, sort of as a sub-background, we're going to add the role of this officer aboard the sailing ship. Oh, Ains, do you just want to be called that, or is there a... do you have another nickname you want to be called? Alright, so here's our blank character sheet. Hey, if you all have your PHB open, let's make a surgeon. Let's make a surgeon for the ship. We're going to roll percentile and find out if we have a female, male, or multi-classed character. 3, we have a female character. Now I'm going to roll a d10 and determine which race she will be out of the player's handbook. Whoop, I rolled it twice, but that works because my first one was a 10 and there's only 9 races, which is a reroll. So we rerolled into 2. Ah, so we have an elf. Now I'm going to roll a d10 and determine odds or evens, which kind of elf it'll be. 5 is odd. We have a wood elf. I guess unless we roll evil, in which case it could be a drow. Irishai, okay. I still have it a little bit. Skoshi. In fact, let's discover, do we have a drow? I'm going to roll 2 percentile die, and we're going to find out on which axes, oh.
I was wondering about the dragon that you had by the name of Niv Mizzet for your mind.
Niv Mizzet, you say? It so happens, Daily, that I do have a Niv Mizzet. And I do have one more of him. So while this Niv Mizzet has found a home with you, Daily, I have one other. Rawr. Congrats, Daily. You are very welcome, sir. And thank you for giving him a good home. Okay, 2 percentiles. Oh, yeah. Well, it's definitely gonna need a larger box for the miniatures and for Niv Mizzet, because I'm presuming you're gonna want the whole box and to keep it sealed. So thank you very much. 69 and 12. That is gonna put us in neutral, lawful neutral. Elves are medium-sized creatures. There we go. Lawful neutral, so we do have a wood elf, not a drow. Now we're going to roll the level at which we are going to generate the character. Roll a percentile. We rolled a 40, level 16. Alrighty. That means we are going to get an ability score improvement, an ASI, or a stat bump, at 4, 8, 12, and 16. Unless we're a fighter. That is 4... that's 4 times we can either increase our scores, or, if your DM allows it, you can take a feat. I'm going to roll and see, of the 4 possibilities, how many of those will be feat selection. Hey, Shlomo, welcome. At a 92, it looks like all 4 slots are going to be feats. We're going to make a very specialized character here. They're like bards, or like, or fighters are like bards but can't sing. Now, in addition to being the ship's surgeon, let's find out what is the background of this character before she became the ship's surgeon. I'm going to roll a 13-sided die, and we're going to find out. We rolled a 6. An artisan or a merchant. A guild artisan or a merchant. Now, there are 20 different kinds of merchants that are portrayed, or artisans, in the player's handbook in Chapter 4. I'm going to roll a d20, and we're going to discover which one she was crafting or selling. And we rolled another 6. Now, I don't know what 6 is just yet, but we have a placeholder. Just like for her personality traits, I'm going to roll 2d8. 8 and 4. There we go. 3d6 for an ideal, bond, and flaw. 5, 4, 2. And we'll come back to what that means here in just a little bit. Right now, we're randomly generating numbers. This is a very RNG-friendly corner of Twitch. And now, what is the class that our ship surgeon will be playing? You know, if we do this maybe through classic party building, the cleric or the druid might say, yeah, hey, come on, I'll be the surgeon. I'm good at healing, right? I have curative spells. But we're opening ourselves up to randomness. So let's find out what kind of a person will be what kind of a person will be at the or behind the scalpel, I should say. Oh, Dark Wolf came back as a female tiefling druid. Interesting combo. Roll the d12, and here we go. 7. A paladin. That works, huh? Paladins have 3 different oaths they can take. So I'm going to roll a 3-sided die and find out which oath our paladin has taken. 2. Oath of the Ancients. Paladins also get a fighting style. I'm going to roll a d4. My Holy Scalpel. Is that the name of her sword? Or maybe she wields a glaive, so it looks like a really big scalpel. I'm going to roll a d4, and we're going to discover which fighting style she specializes in. 3. A great weapon. Okay. She'll be like, oh, what's the character's name from Guilty Gear? Faust? No, not Faust. It's the doctor who has the bag on his head, kind of walks around all creepy. He fights with a big scalpel. She just amputates with a great axe. Well, look. You want to get the job done. You want it done 100%. Oh, is it Faust? Was I correct, right, Tal? Okay. Okay, Wood Elf. They start at 4 feet 6 inches tall. I'm going to add 2d10 inches to her height. We're adding 15 inches, so she is going to be 5'9". I'm going to take that same 15 and I'm going to multiply it by 1d4 pounds by 2. So we're adding 30 pounds to a base weight of 100. So she is 130 pounds. Oh, throwing in even some more of the current lore, huh, Rytel? Now let's find out where in her life she is. You know, is she older, younger? Because remember, you can take the exact same character, and if you change the age, that one change can have significant effects on that character. Let's roll a percentile. I rolled a 19, which is going to make her a young adult. Young adult. For elves, a young adult is between 100 and 200, or well, I'm 101, but 100 and 200 years old. I'm going to roll a percentile, and we're going to find out how old she is. 12. She is 112 years old. Just, so, I mean, in human years, she's maybe 20. Shlomo. Okay, we have finished our random number generation for this character. Yep, Ains, we try and keep as much as possible random because it challenges our storytelling abilities. Right? How can we make all of these random elements work very well together and create a character that is compelling, that has a personality, and a character with whom you might even be have some excitement, or for whom you'd have some excitement. Maybe you'd want to play this character yourself. But now that we have our numbers in place, let's minimize our chart and go over to Chapter 4 of the PHB. We're going to scroll. We're going to scroll to Guild Artisan. These are in alphabetical order, and here we go. All right, as a guild artisan or a guild merchant, and we can decide which one we want. You know, as we develop our personality, we'll make that decision here. We rolled number 6. Number 6, cartographers, surveyors, and chart makers. Josh, it is available on our Discord. If you pop over to our Discord and you go to Table Talk, it should be one of the pinned messages. And you'll be able to download it. You know what? This works really well. She's a member of a crew. If she's a map maker, yes, she's the surgeon. Maybe she found competency in making diagrams of anatomy as well as cartography, diagrams of the land. Josh, you're very, very welcome. Okay. We get insight and persuasion. As well as proficiency in one type of artisan tools. And let's see. So that's going to be for cartography. That could be navigator's tools. That can be... there might be cartography tools themselves. Let's double check real quick in Chapter 5, Equipment. There are calligraphers. No, there are cartographers tools. So, tool proficiency, cartographers tools, which we'll also receive as an item. And we will get a language of our choice. Being an elf, we know Common and Elven, or Elvish, depending on how you want to say it. Erufko for Japanese. So I'm going to put question marks to indicate we do get one more language. Well, we haven't chosen it yet, and we could choose it later. The equipment we're given, we have a set of artisan tools of our choice. We have a letter of introduction from our guild showing that we are a member in good standing. We have credentials. We have traveler's clothes. And a belt pouch containing 15 goju, gold pieces. Eins. Jamata Atode. Thank you for also coming by and saying hello to us. Have a wonderful day. And hopefully we'll see you back for more fun. Our background feature is guild membership. Guild membership can put in a ton of work if you're willing to roleplay through it. These are economic connections, political connections, private connections, and other public connections as well. You can do a lot as a merchant. And if you play it up and you're trading and you're moving this and that, there's just so much that you can do. So always remember, use your background features. They do amazing things. All right, our personality. What is her personality? Number 8. I'm well known for my work, and I want to make sure everyone appreciates it. Chai, or Kai, Kiger, like a tiger, but it's Kiger. Welcome and thank you very much for the follow. Oh, you got the Gargantuan Silver Dragon in today? That's awesome, Diadems. I look forward to seeing a picture of it. I'm well known for my work, and I want to make sure everyone appreciates it. I'm always taken aback when people haven't heard of me. And number 4, I'm full of witty aphorisms and have a proverb for every occasion. Yeah. It doesn't have to be now, but yeah, I would love to see your full flight of dragons, Diadems. So she has a lot of stories to tell, and she's very good at what she does. People have seen her maps, probably even her anatomy books, and it's what she does. It's what she likes. Her ideal is number 5. people. I'm committed to the people I care about, not to ideals. So her ideal is not to follow ideals. And you know what? Cindy, whom we generated last night, has the same. This is a good bond between the two. And her bond is number 4. I pursue wealth to secure someone's love. Rhodey, I did not know. I'm sorry. Today, after waking up, was errands, running the Tomb of Annihilation public game at the store, coming home, dinner, and setting up for the stream. DMs, remember, your PCs with their backgrounds are providing you a ton of content for your campaign. And our flaw, because we are all flawed creatures, is number 2. I'm quick to assume that someone is trying to cheat me. So she's very defensive about her work. That's one way to interpret it anyway. If they do decide to do a background, that's true. I guess you don't have to have one, but I would highly recommend having a background in 5th edition. Okay, I'll look at it when I can, Rhodey. I didn't have the opportunity. Yeah, see, Pneumonica gets it. Pneumonica gets it. You have 3 that do not? Well, but you're also playing in 3rd edition, which didn't really... Not that you couldn't have backgrounds in 3rd, I guess, but it wasn't a part of the character per creation. Now let's pop over to Surgeon and find out what this role is going to bring. The ship's surgeon tends to injuries, keeps illness from spreading throughout the ship, and oversees sanitation. A capable surgeon benefits from a high intelligence score, as well as proficiency with herbalism kits and the medicine skill. So this is what we are going to give her in addition to her background. Herbalism kit and medicine skill. Medicine and herbalism. And we are going to challenge ourselves because a high intelligence is important as per the rules here. We are going to make intelligence at least her 2nd highest, probably not 1st because of Paladin, but we're going to make intelligence her 2nd highest skill, so that by the rules of this Unearthed Arcana, she will be a competent medicinal administrator. She will be Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. The West Hall, thank you very much for that follow. Welcome aboard. For any of you who are joining us, if you're new here, well, hey, you're welcome to lurk. I certainly appreciate the follows. And if you have questions along the way, you're welcome to ask it. It doesn't even have to be about what we're presenting up here. If you have a question about 5th Ed in general, or about role-playing, if there's anything we can help you with, there is not just me presenting. There's a lot of experience over here with the other players in chat. Darkwolf going to bed. Have an awesome night, Darkwolf. All right, so I want to make sure intelligence, I'm just going to put an X here so we know that we want a high intelligence paladin. Now that we've established our background, let's go to races and check out what she gets by virtue of being an elf. Dex score increases by 2, so let's drop that in here. We already have our age, alignment, and size. Our speed is 30 feet. That's going to give us a 15-foot climb, 15-foot swim, and a 0 fly. We do have dark vision out to 60 feet. Keen senses, we have proficiency with the perception skill. Fey ancestry. We have advantages on on being charmed. And we can also trance. So we only need 4 hours of rest per night in this meditative state, in which we're still kind of aware. You know, in a way, I was kind of saying, you know, we're making the crew, of the Voyager, and if you think about it, Robert Picardo's portrayal of the Doctor there is kind of an on-call, like a 24/7 Doctor, and in her own way, this surgeon, the ship surgeon, could also be on call at all hours of the day. You know, you may get her from a rest, but she's still awake, and she'll probably need to go back and trance a little bit more to get a full rest. But she is on call at all times. Rhodium, she gets supernaturally pretty for what? For being an elf. We already have our languages written down. And subrace, well, she's not a high elf, she is a wood elf. Our wisdom score increases by 1, so let's drop that in here. Elf weapon training, we have proficiency with the longsword. Well, that's not going to matter because we're going to be a paladin and we're going to get all that weapon training anyway. Fleet of foot, your base walking speed is 35 feet. Huzzah, 17 and 17 for climb and swim, but still 0 for fly. And we get Mask of the Wild. You can attempt to hide even when you're only lightly obscured by foliage, heavy rain, falling snow, mist, and other natural phenomena. Ooh, pardon me. Don't elves have a reputation for being beautiful? Some can. I mean, to humans, they would have an exotic beauty to them, right? Because they look mostly human, but they have the more angular features, the longer ears, etc. But elves aren't necessarily automatically charismatic, mechanically, or just every race is, every sub-race of elf is just automatically a beautiful person. All right, so there is our background. Our sub-background is surgeon. Our race and our sub-race is a wood elf. Now, let's go to our classes. Paladin. We're generating her at 16th level. And by the way, remember, all 4 of her stat bumps are going to be feats. So bear that in mind. We have a proficiency bonus of +5 by that level. And we have 4, 3, 3, 2 for spell slots. We are a D10 hit die class, and because we're level 16, we have 16 D10 hit die that we can use during downtime, taking a short or long rest in order to recover hit points without needing to expend spells. That can be a quirk of an elf character. What, I'm beautiful? Why? Because I'm an elf? You know that's racist, right? Yeah, am I beautiful just because I'm an elf? Is it, just the ears? I mean, I have pointy ears like the rest of my kind. Armor proficiencies. All armor and shields. Weapons. Simple and martial. No tool proficiencies. Saving throws, wisdom, and charisma. So we're going to fill in the diamonds here. This is a very efficient layout for skills and saves. Skills. Choose 2 from athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Well, let's take a look at her personality, and especially where, you know, nothing here might have a conflict, such as medicine. She's already trained in medicine and in insight. So that leaves athletics, intimidation, persuasion, and oh, not even persuasion. We have that from our guild background, or religion. So we're getting 2 of the 3 that are remaining. I'm well known for my work, and I'm full of witty aphorisms, a proverb for every occasion. Let's see. That could be more. That could be along the lines of religion. I'm committed to the people I care about, not to ideals. I pursue. Not peruse. I guess that would be a P-E-R-U. Pursue wealth to secure someone's love. That seems like persuasion. I'm quick to assume that someone's trying to cheat me, but we already have insight, so I guess we can. We're always suspicious. So I would think that religion and not. I will already have persuasion. Let's see. I'm well known for my work. So my work could be healing or map making. I'm quick to assume that someone's trying to cheat me. That could be intimidation, right? I think someone's trying to, you know, is picking on me or isn't giving me my due. Her personality might take her in that direction. Wow, that is an extra comfy cat, Rhodey. All right, so let's give her intimidation and religion. He really loves this love seat. Well, he's putting it to work, as intended. Equipment. We can start with a martial weapon and a shield, or 2 martial weapons. Let's see. When you roll a 1 or let's look ahead at her fighting style at 2. When you roll a 1 or 2 on a damage die for an attack you make with a melee weapon, you're wielding in 2 hands. You can re-roll the die and must use the new roll. The weapon must have the 2-handed or versatile property for you to gain this benefit. So extra damage here. So she might have a maybe a warhammer. Or a battle axe, maybe a battle axe and a shield, so she can wield it 2-handed and get her great weapon fighting. But we can also give her like a pole arm of some kind as well if she just wants to go pure 2 hands. But having the shield doesn't hurt. So we'll go a martial weapon and a shield. So we're gonna give her a shield up here by clicking in this box. Remember, that gives you an extra +2 AC. And let's give her a battle axe. We were kind of joking that, you know, if she needs to sever a limb, she'll take an axe to it here. But we'll give her a battle axe, which is 1d8 plus whatever her strength is going to be, or 1d10 versatile slashing damage. Five javelins or a simple melee weapon. Give her javelins. She might be able to use them as sort of like markers, as she's you know, she can throw out like topographical markers and the like, or she just, you know, throwing a javelin might almost be like, you know, stitching up a wound, just in a very interesting way, a very large wound. Have you ever had to stitch up a giant? You don't know. You might need a javelin. Javelins are thrown, so they're going to use our strength. We'll remember that. And javelins, I believe, are D6s. Piercing damage. A priest's pack or an explorer's pack. Given her proclivities, an explorer's pack. Chainmail and a holy symbol. She's a surgeon. I'm sure she keeps her axe sharp. I believe it. Our class gives us Divine Sense, which is kind of like the old Detect Evil. We're also going to get Lay on Hands, which we're going to put down here. Lay on Hands. In this part of the character sheet, you can use it for consumable aspects of your character like sorcery points, key points, Lay on Hands, etc. You get 5 hit points per level that you have available with your Lay on Hands between long rests. We have our fighting style of Great Weapon. Spellcasting, we'll come back to spellcasting. Because that's dependent on stats, and the stats are one of the last things we drop in. It'll come about as it does. By the way, remember, we don't get rituals unless we take the feat that allows us to get some. Okay, we get Divine Smite. We can channel spell slots into our weapon for increased damage. We also have Divine Health. We're immune to disease, and you know what? That's pretty good, because we're probably going to get exposed to a lot of it, being the surgeon. We'll get into what our oath gives us after we finish what being a paladin, what all paladins get. We get an extra attack at 5. We get Aura of Protection. Whenever you are a friendly creature within 10 feet of you must make a saving throw, the creature gains a bonus equal to your charisma modifier. Paladin's going to make an excellent surgeon. Aura of Courage. Can't be frightened. We come up for Improved Divine Smite. And then we get Cleansing Touch. At 14th level, you can use your action to end one spell on yourself or on a willing creature that you touch. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. Alright, so, well, by 16, we have everything a paladin will give us. Now let's take a look at our sacred oaths. We rolled Oath of the Ancients. The Oath of the Ancients is as old as the race of elves and the rituals of the druids. Sometimes called Fey Knights, Green Knights, or Horned Knights, paladins who swear this oath cast their lot with the side of the light in the cosmic struggle against darkness because they love the beautiful and life-giving things of the world, not necessarily because they believe in principles of honor, courage, and justice. They adorn their armor and clothing with images of growing things, leaves, antlers, or flowers, to reflect their commitment to preserving life and light in the world. So, good doctor, right? I mean, she'll treat pirates who are captured attacking the ship. She'll treat the captain, and she'll treat the captain as well as she treats the crewmen. I mean, does that sound jarring? We could reverse it and say she treats the crewmen as well as she treats the captain. But I put it the other way to show, especially with her lawful neutral expression of her personality, she's here to heal. You know, she has these neutral beliefs in life and wanting to protect and foster life. Sounds like it fits a wood elf too. It very well may. The tenets of the Oath of Ancients have been preserved for uncounted centuries. This oath emphasizes the principles of good above any concerns of law or chaos. Its 4 central principles are simple. Kindle the light, shelter the light, preserve your own light, and be the light. These are good roleplay prompts for you to work out what your oath is with your DM, so that if you ever break it, you know, because you made a contract, you have those tenets, and where have you failed? Would a wood elf be more in tune with nature, or is that another assumption? That is, yes and no. They have this racial ability, Mask of the Wild, so they can hide very efficiently in nature. They get a bump to Wisdom, which is for survival, medicine, animal handling, so it's a little bit more naturey of a skill. And they can move a little bit more quickly. You know, so maybe they're used to running over land and the like. But directly, you know, directly one thing or the other, no. We are going to get some oath spells. Well, by the way, we don't get cantrips. Spellcasting ability is charisma for a paladin. Be a glorious beacon. Okay, now we got that. It was 4, 3, 3, 2. I'm going to mark which spells we always have available to cast through our open slots. Just like a druid or a cleric, we get these oath spells. And so, in addition to the ones that we can learn, these are going to be ones that are always available to us. Doesn't give us more slots, it just gives us more spell options. I'll teach you. Hey, keep asking questions as we go along, Rhodey. Ensnaring Strike and Speak with Animals. She could be a ship veterinarian as well. Moonbeam and Misty Step. Plant Growth and Protection from Energy. Ice Storm and Stone Skin. Our archetype will give us Channel Divinity, and we're going to get two options. The first is Nature's Wrath. You can use your Channel Divinity to invoke primeval forces to ensnare a foe. As an action, you can cause spectral vines to spring up and reach for a creature within 10 feet of you that you can see. The creature must succeed on a strength or dexterity saving throw, its choice, or be restrained. While restrained by the vines, the creature repeats the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. On a success, it frees itself and the vines vanish. Or, Turn the Faithless. Turn the Faithless. You can use your Channel Divinity to utter ancient words that are painful for Fae and Fiends to hear. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each Fae or Fiend within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage. A turned creature must spend its turns trying to move as far away from you as it can, etc. and so forth. We are also going to get Aura of Warding. This is a good one, by the way. Ancient magic lies so heavily upon you that it forms an Eldritch ward. You and friendly creatures within 10 feet of you have resistance to damage from spells. You take half damage from spells coming in. At 18th level, it increases to 30 feet. And we are going to receive Undying Sentinel. Starting at 15th level, when you're reduced to 0 hit points and are not killed outright, you can choose to drop to 1 hit point instead. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Additionally, you suffer none of the drawbacks of old age, and you can't be aged magically. She's a Ghostbuster, right? Ghosts in D&D can age you magically. And I think there's some other effects that might be able to do the same. She does have Fey ancestry, but by the keyword, the mechanical keyword, Brody, she is a humanoid. Now, a centaur, as we're discovering in the Ravnica book, is not humanoid. It is Fey. And so, this ability would work on a Fey party member if you're rolling with a centaur. But just because they have Fey ancestry, mechanically, it wouldn't turn the person who's casting the spell. Your DM may say something along the lines of, well, I'm counting Dragonborn as dragons, and I'm counting tieflings as fiends, so I will count elves and half-elves, maybe even gnomes sometimes, as Fey. So it's a good point to discuss with your DM about the interaction and how much does someone have to count towards something. Cool. So we have the chassis of our character. Now let's drop in our scores. At least our tentative ones. Remember, we're going to take 4 feats, and some of the feats are going to also increase her... actually, we should probably choose our feats first, then. No, Brody, you are not derailing the creation process. You can always ask questions on this stream. You are welcome to do so. Let's go to Chapter 6, as we do allow feats here in our character creation process. And decide which 4 would really, would she really, which ones would really make her shine. Some of them are going to have a prerequisite score we need, so we'll need to bear that in mind. Well, she's a ship surgeon. Healer might come in handy. But then again, she also does have lay on hands. So that could replace the need for healer. Heavy armor master. Increase your strength while you're wearing heavy armor. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage you take from non-magical weapons is reduced by 3. That could be a good one, too. You can spend 10 minutes inspiring your companions, shoring up the resolve to fight. That's definitely like more of a first mate thing. Committed to people. Full of witty aphorisms. I pursue wealth to secure someone's love, and I'm quick to assume someone's trying to cheat me. I'm thinking Ritual Caster. So we'll need an Int or Wisdom of 13. That shouldn't be a problem. Int is going to be our second highest. Polearm Master. if she knows anatomy really well, right? She's the surgeon. Something like Savage Attacker might help reflect that. Once per turn when you roll damage for a melee weapon attack, you can re-roll the weapon damage dice and use either total. And especially stacking with great weapon fighting style. That would give her a lot of options to really output, you know, to administer some carvings. So let's give that to her, right? Because we want her to be thematic. We want her to be functional, and she'll be functional, but let's also make her thematic. Let's give her Savage Attacker. Oh, Observant would be a good one for her because she's a map maker also. So that'll be an int or whiz. So we're going to go int whiz. Ritual Caster. And let's give her something that can bump up her... What should we bump up? Paladins do tend to need a high strength for going into combat. And they cast off their charisma, so a high charisma is good too. We could increase her strength, I think, with... maybe Heavy Armor Master would be good. So maybe we won't give her the, maybe we can still. I think we can make this work. Because I want her to be compelling. What's the character for again? Tuesday D&D or something else? It's workshop. We're practicing, right? We're setting boundaries for ourselves. And we're challenging ourselves to work within the random numbers that we've set up as our boundary to make a compelling character here. I'm committed, fully, aphorisms, pursue. Let's give her Heavy Armor Master. So this is going to be 1 to Strength. And we'll probably give her 1 to Intelligence instead of Wisdom. Practice does indeed, Rhodey, and that's why we do it, right? So we set a theme, like an overarching goal, and we're pursuing it one character or one look at certain rules or a build of something at a time. Now we have our standard array 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Let's drop our scores in. Let's give her a 15 strength. Let's give her a high intelligence, 14 int. 13 charisma. 12 constitution, 10 wisdom, and 8 dexterity. Garanom, welcome. Thank you very much for that follow. (16 strength, 10 dex, 12 con, 15 int, 11 wisdom, and 13 charisma. And so when she gets her final ability score improvement at 19, probably we would throw that into charisma and intelligence, I'd say. Wisdom is all right. I mean, you could, as intelligence would still be the second highest behind strength. But given the circumstances of this character's creation, I think that that would work out really well. Strength is 3, Dex is 0, Con is 1, Int is 2, Wisdom is 0, and Charisma is 1. Saving throws 3 and 3. We're going to put zeros down the board for Dex. Constitution is 1. Intelligence is going to be 2 down the line, except Religion, which is going to be 7. Wisdom is going to be 5 for our proficiencies and 0 for animal handling and survival. And for charisma, it is going to be 6 on the save, intimidation, persuasion, and a 1 deception and 1 performance. Armor class, we're given chainmail and we have a shield if she's using it all together. 18, and she has DR from her heavy armor master. And if you have any other suggestions, if you want to swap out fates, if you want, or feats, not fates, if you want to rearrange the scores, you're always welcome to consider it and throw out an option. Say, well, you know what? Instead, how about this? Just be aware that we're making her a high intelligence paladin because we are making her the ship's surgeon, and we're going by the guidelines that this Unearthed Arcana article has given us for a surgeon. And now she is no longer a set of numbers. If any of you have a name that's coming to mind for our female wood elf Oath of the Ancients paladin, who is a cartography guild artisan, you can offer suggestions, partial names, and the like. Initiative is going to be +0 because initiative is a dexterity check. Hit points. At level 1, we get our full 10 hit points from our D10 hit die. Every other level, so all 15 levels after that, we're going to get half +1, or in this case 6, right? Half of 10 is 5 plus 1 is 6. Then for all of our levels is going to be, so that's going to be 16 times our Constitution modifier in bonus HP. And so here's our formula. This is going to be an easy 16. 90. So this is going to be 116 hit points with a decent, or a really decent AC and DR built into that. Our passive perception is going to be 15. It's 10 plus our perception modifier. How naturally aware is she of what's going on around her? For our strength-based weapons, which do include javelins, they have the thrown tag, or like the keyword on them. Wage slave 76. No, don't be a wage slave. But anyway, thank you very much. Welcome to our tabletop. And if you have any questions, comments, you're sitting at a table in a game store. We're talking about D&D. We're doing some imagination and challenging ourselves to make characters with random, semi-random aspects to them. And we're going to have fun doing it. Rhodium says, Ridley Moongazer. So with that, then what jumps out at you is calling her Ridley Moongazer, or why is her family name Moongazer? It may sound obvious, but I always like understanding why is someone named what they're named. If we make a spell attack, because we cast off of charisma, we are attacking with 1 plus our proficiency, so it's going to be a +6 to hit, and then we add 8 to that to determine the save against our effects. Any of our strength-based weapons, we're swinging, let's see, 3 plus 5, so swinging at a plus 8. And then our bonus damage is our strength modifier. We do not get cantrips normally by virtue of being a paladin. You know what? I'm kind of wondering if Ritual Caster is really going to be her thing. You know, if she's a healer, she's a cartographer, well, rituals might help out with that if things like Arcane Eye or Scrying are rituals, and I believe they are. No, not. Maybe I'm gonna I'll say retrain like we gave it to her. Maybe I'm gonna retrain Ritual Caster into something more. Inspiring Leader could be interesting. We have the minimum for it as well at 13. Maybe going Shield Master instead. She's heavily armored. She'll has these auras. She'll stand beside everyone. Lucian Star, welcome. Hello. Sorry, Lucian, you caught me looking at the different feats here. I think our Ritual Caster just isn't... It's not jiving with who I think this character is. And I think Shield Master might be a little bit better here. I like that a little bit better than Ritual Caster. Now, it's not going to change our scores. We don't get a partial ASI off of it, but I think it's more thematic than a Ritual Caster for her. Cedaria, like a cedar tree. You have a question about the rules? Yeah. Lucian, just because we're working on a project in our workshop doesn't mean you can't ask questions about something else. You're welcome to do so. So you want to name her Cedaria? Do we have a family name that you would like to call her? Lucian, Rhodey, anyone else out there? Let's go back to Paladins, and we are going to know a number of spells. Equal to our Charisma modifier, plus half our Paladin level. So that is going to be 9. We have a Charisma modifier of 1. And then we have half of our Paladin level. So in addition to what our Oath is always going to make available so long as we have the slots to cast them. That's important. we can prepare 9 other spells on top of the ones that you see here. Hey, Funny, welcome. We're finishing up our ship's surgeon tonight, and we're looking for a name for our surgeon. She is a female wood elf, paladin, Oath of the Ancients, guild artisan, specializing in cartography, who is acting as the ship's surgeon aboard this crew that we're making, using the recent Unearthed Arcana. And we're almost finished with her details and such. Our attack bonus was 6, and therefore is a 14 save. And we have lay on hands, which we calculated to be 80. And there we go. Cedaria Catharsia, as in like cathartic, like a purifying or an expunging. Lucian, awesome. So I have been running my first game. I ran into a situation with attacks of opportunity. The party was against a necromancer. A player charged into his room and was flanked by 6 zombies. Would he run past as specified by him, or you normally do the 2 attacks from the hidden zombies and ask him if he wanted to continue running into the room? In that case, you know, the zombies would take the attack of opportunity as it occurred. I mean, presumably before they got out of range of being able to swipe. So, you know, your player is going to announce the intention on your grid. And then, square by square, play it out. If I had a grid in front of me here. But yeah, so once they leave, or so it happens when they would leave, not just pass through, but leave the threatened range of some zombies, you make the attacks of opportunity. And at that point, as a DM, I would suggest you can offer the opportunity for the player to cease moving as you're handling this one step at a time. You know, it'd be like you're running past and someone, you know, taps you on the shoulder and you stop and look over. It seems reasonable. Now, some DMs might roll no. Once you locked in your movement, that's it. Now you're gonna have to take it. I think it would make sense and it would be appropriate if you take it step by step, though, Lucian. I was a little unsure, so we just played it as he originally specified. I was unsure on any rules for surprise. Well, alright, so surprise is a condition in 5th edition. There's no... we call it a surprise round, but if there's going to be combat, you can stop, have everyone roll initiative. For people who are surprised, they do not get to act on the first round of initiative. After that first round, you then are no longer surprised, and you begin normally. So what could happen in that case if they weren't already in initiative, then the person would narrate, okay, I'm going to burst into the room and try and attack this necromancer. And you stop time and play it just a couple frames at a time. You know, go to the grid. There's the mini, there's the mini you see, there's like the open door, and there's the necromancer far beyond as you run in. 5 feet. 5 feet through the door. 5 feet past, thereby triggering the attacks of opportunity from the 2 zombies that were flanking just behind the door. So in that case, when the attack would be, or the AO would be triggered, I mean, you could just make it and then tell everyone to roll into initiative. But if you want to take it step by step, you can then say, all right, I need everyone to roll into initiative, including the zombies. And even if the zombies go last, they're still getting this surprise round because they're not surprised. They don't have that condition. And it's important to treat it as such because there are some things like feats that overcome that. So the zombies are going to presumably go first in initiative because they are not surprised. Then we get into normal initiative. Of course, if you're, if your paladin was sort of acting on his or her turn, you could finish out the movement. They don't have to stop unless one of the zombies forcibly stops the movement by way of some ability or feat or some other power. Hey, Technotron, welcome. It probably would have been a more enjoyable scenario. Well, look, hey, we play, we learn. Even longtime DMs, maybe even especially, because we're so used to different rules from different editions, sometimes we mess up. And in that case, Lucian, play it where it stands. Go with what's here. Make the the note to your players that this happened, and you know what? I could be wrong on the rules. I'm gonna still run it fairly as I had it planned out, even though that plan is incorrect. And when we finish, we could talk about it. But what we're doing was according to how I thought it was going to go. And if you trust me not just to murk you, like that was my plan the whole time, roll with it. And when we finish, we could talk about it and resolve something or another. Danny says, I've been trying to teach my rogue PC a valuable lesson in opportunity attacks. 6 months later, and he still doesn't understand. Well, yeah, that's a big part of his of being a rogue. So what's he doing then to avoid? What's he doing to either avoid or just never get an opportunity attack set up, Danny? Funny says, yeah, and just a thing to surprise your party. One thing to make a brutal effect would be to actively clever enemies that would work in groups. As an example, for a game I'm DMing, 3 dragon cultists, instead of running an attack, they would hold their turns and all prepare a spell attack at once. Yes, exactly, Funny. Intelligence in monsters makes them very lethal. Lucian says, I like the step-by-step attitude, was about to check the book, had Twitch open and thought I'd ask. Well, and thank you for finding us and asking. We had a good time regardless. I had an NPC character in case someone died. Still working on balancing, so it's been a fun learning experience. Look, Lucian, if everyone has fun and you're enjoying telling a story as a group together, congratulations, you've won D&D. Many people might ask, well, how do you win D&D? That's how you do it. You know what? And even if it led to the death of the person, if all of you are consenting that is exactly, that's how it played out and I'm fine with it. It's funny. It was appropriate. Shame on me. I shouldn't have just run into a room with a necromancer. Then it doesn't necessarily matter. You had fun. Everyone enjoyed it. And you know what? If you learn a rule after the fact, sure, apply it later. But in that moment, reality happened as it happened. Roll with it. Have fun. Be imaginative. Exactly. That's how you win D&D. You have fun. Even if it's a TPK. Because, heck, that can make you feel bad as a DM if it happens. But if everyone is laughing and enjoying themselves, even though the party got murked, congrats, you still won. Funny said Cedaria LaMoire as a possible name for the character. So I'm seeing a lot of Cedarias. Why don't we do this? Cedaria LaCath. Take the Lemoire and Cathartic. You're trying to tie the Necromancer to an Alhoun Master, so plenty of fun ahead. And you know what? Please come back and let us know how it plays out at your tabletop. Whether you do so here in the stream when we're live, or if you hop over to our Discord, you can see that there's a place where people share their tabletop tales and what all's happening here. And you know what, everyone? I think we have finished our ship surgeon. I mean, we can always click in here and upload a picture if you find a picture that seems appropriate. You know, a holy symbol. We can fill in her eyes and skin and her hair and other details. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. In fact, you want to have a good knowledge of your character. But when it comes to the mechanics of the character, we have everything set. Though I should note that, remember, you have 9 spell slots that you can balance around wherever you'd like here. You could wake up and put 7 level 2 spells here if you want, and then put 1 first level and 1 third level and skip second entirely. That is something that you have the ability to do as a paladin. Is between long rests, you can swap your spells with the exception of your oath spells. I'm usually bad about talking on Discord. The name sounds good. I'm glad you like it. Danny says he's actually on the other end of it. He always forgets that leaving their melee attack range invokes attacks of opportunity. At first, because he was new to D&D, I would let him know that would invoke an attack of opportunity and allow him to change his mind. Then it turned into a long pause in the action while I stared at him while he realized what he was doing. Now I just played as he calls it. Yeah, that's the best way to have him learn. You're not being vindictive, you know, if you're not setting him up and being like, haha, gotcha, and, you know, and you're harassing the player at every turn by getting AOs for every little thing. If he does it, he does it. And you know what? At some point in time, he'll remember how not to provoke it. And sometimes a PC may want to provoke an AO. That may sound crazy, but there are uses for provoking AOs from monsters. I honestly believe that if you want to teach people things that they can do in battle would be to use it yourself against them. If you want to learn how to swim, you got to jump in the water. Alright, so here we go. Now, we're going to take about a 10-minute break, everyone. And when we come back, we are going to make the third member of the crew of our ship, the quartermaster. We're going to start with a fresh character sheet. So for all of you here, if you just came in at the tail end of this character, congrats, you're going to be on the ground floor of the quartermaster. So I'll see you back here in about 10 minutes, all right, everyone?